Ladies and gentlemen, the stage is set. The college football playoffs are upon us. I'm Kane Van Wagen.
I'm Cooper Kelsey.
And this is Beyond Game Time.
Roll that intro, guys. All right, diving into this. 12 teams vying for 2 spots in the national championship on January 19th, 5:30 p.m., Miami Gardens, Florida, at the Orange Bowl, round 2. Just kidding. So those 12 teams, as selected by the College Football Playoff Committee, whether we agree with it or not, is a different story. Number 1 overall, after a big win in the Big Ten Championship, Indiana Hoosiers.
Absolutely. Good job, Indiana.
In football, not basketball.
What's even crazier is I was looking at like 2023 standings, and they're the bottom. They're the bottom of the Big Ten. And now Chris Ignetti takes control, and they're back up at the top of the Big Ten, top of the nation. So good for them. Give them their flowers. I think Indiana's done really well this season.
So one thing that I'm starting to notice is the top overall seeds get to choose their location of what bowl they play.
Yes, the Rose Bowl, like last year.
The Rose Bowl is going to be the one bowl that never changes.
Okay.
Because of its history.
Yep.
And I think if it's a Big Ten team or I don't know if this still applies, but during the BCS era, Bowl Coalition and the Bowl Alliance, a Big Ten team or a Pac-12 team that's what it was. Had to exist in that bowl. But because the Pac-12 was no more, I think at least a Big Ten team. But regardless of that, Indiana chooses to go to the Rose Bowl.
Yes.
Number 2 overall seed. Again, don't agree with this, but Ohio State, they will be going to the Cotton Bowl.
Really?
Yes. Ohio State's going to the Cotton Bowl.
No, but you don't agree that they should be 2?
No.
Why?
Because there is no reward for Georgia winning the SEC.
Yeah, but I also think that it's a one-loss Ohio State. I understand what you're saying, that Georgia has that like win over Alabama, and it's a good win for the SEC. Like they throttled Alabama, but I don't think you should penalize Ohio State for a 3-point loss against Indiana and a throttled Georgia win. But then again, it could also be flip-flop, but I just think Ohio State should be the 2 seed.
I think we'll get into that a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'll explain my reasoning. Number 3, going to the All-State Sugar Bowl, is the Georgia Bulldogs after a win over Bama in the SEC Championship. Fully agree with that. Again, we'll get into more of that later. And the last bye, going to the number 4 Texas Tech Red Raiders in the Orange Bowl.
Good for them.
Yes, very good for them. Throttle BYU once more, 34-7. That was just a snooze fest of a game.
Yeah.
It's okay, I was working. So
I wasn't. I sat through that game. Bear Bachmeier looked rough.
Diving into the 7, so that's their top 4 teams. We have 8 more teams to go through. Number 5, Oregon Ducks, home game in Autzen, December 20th, 5:30. Don't agree with the night game. They should go to Kyle Field. I'm fully supportive of that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oregon should not have a night game. I'm sorry.
They have a 10 a.m. in Kyle Field? That's insane.
Yeah, no.
That's insane.
Number 6, Ole Miss Rebels. Could move. Once again, Oregon did not move because didn't play anything.
Yep.
Ole Miss did not move. Number 7, Texas A&M Aggies, a noon game. Don't agree with it whatsoever, but nonetheless, they're number 7. Number 8 is the Oklahoma Sooners. That'll be a fun game. They're matched up with number 9, Alabama Crimson Tide, the only team in the history of the CFP that did not move for losing their conference championship.
Yeah, that's insane. We'll get more. Get into it more in a second, but it's weird.
Number 10, and arguably the last at-large, quote unquote, is the number 10 Miami Hurricanes. Made their case and they got it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, we'll dive into there's a lot to unpack. Number 11, the 4th highest rated conference champion, the Tulane Green Wave, played Ole Miss once this year and lost by 35. The 5th highest rated conference champion. So ACC has one team in already, but it was not their conference champion.
Yeah.
It'll go to the Sun Belt champions, James Madison, to face the number 5 Oregon Ducks.
Yeah.
So those are your 12 teams.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's kind of break down how we got here.
Yeah, so I think top 4, you can, in a sense, the top 4 teams are the top 4 teams. It doesn't matter the order. I think top 4 teams were ranked perfectly.
Yes.
You can argue Georgia moving up, Ohio State moving up, but then I think Oregon staying at that spot, Ole Miss staying at that spot is perfect.
Yep.
I think Oklahoma staying at 8 is really good. And then I know Alabama was in that 9th spot before the SEC game,
and then they didn't move,
and they didn't move at all, which confused me.
It did.
But I just think it's that way because the SEC the committee loves the SEC so much.
And it's Alabama.
Yeah.
Alabama is been this way for so long. This is their 8th CFP now.
Yeah, something like that.
They generate so much revenue.
Have they never not been in a CFP?
They have. They've missed a CFP.
Oh, I guess because
yeah,
because 4 teams. So
yeah, they've
had
missed
to
a
have
couple CFPs, but I think regardless, this has been an insane turn of events. Like Alabama doesn't move whatsoever, and I think that's also partially why Notre Dame is mad. More on Notre Dame in a little bit.
Yeah,
but outside of that, my argument. I just want to touch on this for a brief second here. My argument for Georgia being the 2 and Ohio State being the 3 is you're not rewarding the teams that won in their conference.
Yeah, it definitely does make conference games obsolete.
Yes.
I think this whole format just made the SEC championship game obsolete.
Yes, it made it absolutely obsolete. I think, again, the CFP values 2 conferences at this point. The Big Ten and the SEC.
Yeah.
They've now taken out the value of both those conference championship games.
Absolutely.
With the result of this. That's just my opinion. I think Ohio State should be 3, Georgia should be 2. That's my opinion. It doesn't matter. It is what it is. Either way, I'm okay. I can be content with where they're at.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
But I completely understand where you say, because we've talked about it before, and I wish that they made conference championships more important.
Yeah.
Because you have the 1 and 2 spot between the Big Ten, where that game was a game of who was going to play in the Cotton Bowl and who's going to play in the Rose Bowl, right?
Or if Indiana
vice versa. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you go to the SEC championship, where he just said the 2 top conferences in the nation, where that game just doesn't matter because the team that won didn't move, the team that lost didn't move.
Yeah.
Right?
Again, it's obsolete to this point. Okay. Now, breaking down the rest of the teams that got in, before we dive into these matchups, and we'll kind of walk you through that, we're all both going to pick our brackets.
Yep.
The other big exclamation point in the room, Notre Dame is out, Miami is in.
Yeah.
I kind of touched on this, and this makes me happy because they got it right.
Yes, they definitely
got it right. It's not perfect, but they got it right.
Yeah.
Notre Dame has been above Miami in every CFP poll to this point except this one.
Which that makes me understand why Notre Dame is so mad.
Yes.
I don't understand how the committee could put Notre Dame above Miami. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like if the game was played the first week of the year. We saw that Miami has beaten Notre Dame. So I wonder what happened over the course of this weekend to just change it.
So I watched the selection show, most of it.
Yeah.
And what Joey, Kirk, and Chris Fowler all said was you couldn't take into account because of both Miami and Notre Dame did not play conference championship game. And now we're getting to the point where the head-to-head starts to matter because neither of them put themselves close enough inside to have that matter.
Yeah.
Now they're both bubble teams. So the head-to-head has to matter at some point.
Yes.
This is where I was saying September losses should count.
So you're saying that before then it was just too much of a margin to count the head-to-head.
It was too much of a margin to count the head-to-head because we were uncertain on what was going to happen. Miami was part of a 5-way tiebreaker in the ACC that they didn't get in.
Yeah.
That's also something that was weighed. Not in this situation.
Yeah.
But Notre Dame has every right to be mad. I'm not discrediting
No, absolutely.
that. Personally, Alabama should be out. Notre Dame and Miami should be in.
Okay.
Or Miami and I don't. Okay.
Perfect world, because I'm biased, I want BYU in. I think BYU is a really fun team to watch.
Perfect world.
But in the world of actual knowledge
and rankings,
Bama should be out and Notre Dame should be in that 9 spot. Or
Miami should be 9.
Yes.
Notre Dame should be 10.
Yes. Do you want to talk about the group of 5 real quick? Because I love giving power to the group of 5 and letting them. It's a Cinderella story. You want to say, right?
Yes.
But I think it's completely different than a basketball Cinderella story.
Yes. It is.
You can't. No disrespect to James Madison and Tulane. I think Tulane played phenomenal. What was it? Was it last year? 2 years ago against USC? That was a phenomenal game.
Yeah, in the Cotton Bowl.
Yes, that was a really, really good game.
That was a really good game.
But I just don't like that 2 spots go to a group of 6. And hear me out. Why don't they just make a group of 6 playoff?
Again, that's part of fixing the playoff as a whole.
Right?
My roommate Grady, shout out Grady, I love you. the argument that I have against that is if you have a group of 6 playoff, there is no point in the group of 5 playing their season because they're not playing for the same national title.
I understand that. Yeah.
So that's the only thing I have against it. And I'm on Baggins' side here. I want to see the 12 best teams. Grady, I understand and agree with you on that.
Because then 12 best teams would have been BYU and Notre Dame that are in.
Right. But you also have to give the group of 5 a reason to play during the year.
That's true.
We're not going to have the 0-12 UMass come play in a 134-team playoff and have a chance. They're going to get blown out by 80. It's going to happen. It's bound to happen. But you have to give them a chance and a will to fight for it. James Madison is a 20-point dog in Eugene. But they're still going to play. They're going to try and win that game. I don't think it's going to be close.
No, me neither.
They'll cover, but I don't think, again, the inclusivity and the way the CFP is modeled. Yeah. That's where it's sucky. It's not the 5 it's not the Power 4 conference champions plus the next highest rated conference champion. It's the 5 highest rated conference champions.
So in a sense,
ACC is accountable to themselves.
Oh my gosh. ACC
We've talked about
just
that
atrocious to look at. That was Duke, thank you for causing chaos.
Yes,
it's just fun.
It is.
But yeah, I do but even then it's still crazy because think about this. If a team okay, never mind then, because I was about to say because James Madison's 12-1, but they're still then they still value skill at that point,
right? Because
James Madison is 12-1, but they're the bottom of the best conference champions because they're in the Sun Belt. So then I guess that does make sense then because they can't.
It does.
Because at least they put them in that 11 to 12 spot instead of a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right. That's where if we had the model from last year, I would still be screwed off because Tulane would be at 4, Texas Tech would be at 5.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
That's where they fixed it. From last year.
Because last year was Boise State. It was
Boise State. I'm still salty about last year. Don't get me wrong, but I can move on
because this is straight seeding.
This is straight seeding now.
Okay.
There's still no reseeding. I think there should be, but there's in case of anything weird happening. But they corrected the mistake from last year, so I congratulate the CFP on that.
Yeah, good job.
But I think as we said, it's a part of the model. We have to accept it, but this will never be perfect. Yeah. This will never be perfect, but they made improvements to make it better. That's what we asked for.
Yeah. Going back to Notre Dame real quick, over the weekend, right? It was Sunday that they said it. When the selection show came out and they didn't make the CFP, they withdrew from bowl games. And Marcus Freeman not only brought up the decision, but he gave the power to his athletes and was saying, what do you guys want to do in this situation? Which I genuinely don't think he should have gone it that way. No. I think they're our age, 20-year-old kids who are playing that sport right now. And I know when emotions get to me, I make rash decisions that I shouldn't make. So I believe that the athletes and players, they were making decisions that they might regret later in life. You know what I mean? I think Marcus Freeman should have made a decision for himself, but letting the athletes pick if they should be in or out of bowl games was not the right choice.
This is where irrational decisions start to be made.
Yeah.
And Ryan Hammer, I saw something. Ryan Hammer, he's a college basketball analyst, came to GCU, loved it, knows this place really well. Shout out Ryan Hammer. It's a plug at Ryan Hammer. He said and kind of expressed how this happening, Notre Dame, Kansas State, and Iowa State also pulled out.
Really?
Yeah. Iowa State and Kansas State owe $500,000 each to the Big 12.
That's insane.
But outside of that, it hurts the sport, the picture of the sport, because now you have teams that are like, oh, we don't care. The college basketball has the NIT.
Yeah.
And they opt to pull out of that, which is a little bit different.
Yeah.
But at the same time, bowl games mean more to college football than the NIT does to college basketball.
Yeah. And the AD of Notre Dame said, we'll be back for 2026 to bring a championship back to South Bend. But how can you expect to give your team confidence going into the offseason when you don't play in a bowl game?
Right.
Their last game was against Stanford. They played against Stanford, beat the brakes off them because Stanford is not good at football.
No.
And then they don't go to the CFP, so the spirits of the team is broken. Yeah. Last game was Stanford, and now they drew out of a bowl game. So they're going to go into the offseason fixing what?
Yeah.
Absolutely fixing what?
Also, there's an MOU that Notre Dame has that they signed this spring. If they're in the top 12 of next year's playoff, they are guaranteed a spot. They paid. This is what we're talking about. They paid the CFP an MOU that they signed.
That's insane.
Over the next 2 years, if they are in the top 12 or if it expands to 14, if they're in the top 14,
They get a bid.
they get an automatic bid regardless of what it is. So they're essentially creating their own auto bid because they paid the committee,
And then they did.
which is stupid.
I just wish they joined a conference.
Yes, that's what needs to happen.
All right, after that long tangent about Notre Dame, we're going to get into our brackets. We're going to pick, and we're going to go all the way to the Natty. So let's just start the top of the bracket here. We got James Madison versus Oregon. Not even going to be biased.
Nope.
I'm just going to say Oregon's going to beat James Madison.
We don't need to be biased.
Yeah,
'cause
no
it's
bias there. I think Oregon beats James Madison.
Easy. We're filling out our brackets as we go too.
Yeah.
I'll probably try and clip these and put them on probably at the end of the segment. So we got Oregon moving on to play Tech in the Orange Bowl.
Alabama versus Oklahoma in Norman. Last time Bama played against Oklahoma, it was in Tuscaloosa. We talked about this last podcast, but now it's set in stone. Oklahoma's defense is so good.
Oklahoma's defense is so good, and Ty Simpson has not played well.
We saw that Georgia game. It was atrocious.
It was atrocious. And the other thing about this, I'll kind of expand more as we move on, but Oklahoma's offense will do enough not compromise, but what's the word? To supplement the defense.
Yeah.
So they'll supplement the defense, and they'll put up just enough points to where their defense will get those stops.
Yeah.
Alabama's offense cannot do that right now.
Yeah, we talked about the up and down of Ty Simpson. Right now we're in like the Marina trench of down. It's very, very deep in that down position. Pause. But I think that Oklahoma wins this game only because of Oklahoma's defense.
Because of their defense.
If John Mateer can get a touchdown or two and like a field goal, that's all it'll take.
If he has two I think this is a low-scoring slugfest.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think John Mateer has throws for a touchdown and runs in for a touchdown, and then the Oklahoma defense does the rest from there.
Yeah, I think it'll be like a 17-10 or a 21-17 score.
So Oklahoma will move on into the Rose Bowl to face number 1 overall Indiana. All right, Tulane, Ole Miss again.
Last time they played,
Ole Miss won by 5 touchdowns.
Right? And they're in.
And it's at Ole Miss again.
Yeah.
So I think Tulane has had a great season. They don't stand a chance. Ole Miss is also fired up because of the coaching changes and everything. Trinidad Chambliss has just been playing outstanding.
Trinidad is so good, and being in Oxford helps them a lot.
Oxford,
Kewan Lacey, 1,200 yards right now. Jake Retzloff's a phenomenal quarterback. I just don't think I think it'll be
closer.
I don't think it'll be closer in a sense. I think Tulane will score more than they did, but I do think Ole Miss will just run away with it.
I think what's the spread right now? I can't look, but
I'm looking right now if it's gonna pop up.
I feel like it's
17.
I think
and a half.
I think it'll be just about there.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
It won't be as bad of a game. But yeah, Ole Miss. All right, Miami, Texas A&M. This one is hard for me.
This is the battle of Notre Dame.
It is. It is. Literally. The 2 teams that Notre Dame lost to. One on a questionable call. Not that questionable. Like if we're being brutally honest here, pro and college, there's holding on every single play.
There's holding everywhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely everywhere.
Anyways. Texas A&M coming off a loss to Texas during rivalry week, did not play in the SEC championship.
Yeah.
Miami coming off a win against Pitt handily.
Yeah, Miami played very well in that Pitt game. Carson Beck is playing better than we've seen and than we've talked about. We've both been very critical of Carson Beck this season. Texas A&M's defense is not the best, right?
No,
it's really lackluster, but their offense makes up for it.
Yep.
If Marcel Reed can get in the groove and get the ball out to Concepcion and Craver, I know I talk about them a lot, but I think that they're a phenomenal offense. I think Texas A&M has the shot to win that game only if they can put a stop to Carson Beck.
I have a feeling Carson Beck is going to dice up this Texas A&M defense and then support it with the run game.
Yeah.
I don't think Texas A&M's defense is going to be able to stop. Texas A&M's offense is high-powered, but the proportions, Miami's offense and defense compared to Texas A&M's offense and defense is going to be too much.
So you're saying that Miami's defense and Miami's offense isn't far away from each other, or far away from the opposing?
Like Miami's defense compared to Texas A&M's offense is much closer
Than Texas A&M's defense compared to Miami's offense.
Yes.
Yeah, I see that, but I just think Texas A&M will be able to hold their own on the offense, so they don't have to put too much pressure on the defense. I think it'll be 42-35 or something like that, where it's like just really high scoring and it's a final drive. A&M scores to win the game.
Okay,
I'm gonna go A&M.
I'm gonna go Miami
only because of A&M's high-powered offense. That's the only reason I'm going A&M.
I feel like Miami's defense has slowly proven themselves over the last 4 weeks. They're on a 4-game win streak with their last loss coming to SMU, I think. Yeah, and in overtime, they've held opponents to a total to 7, 17, 7, and 10. And that win against Pitt was a domination. Pitt had scored 35-plus in their last 4. So I think Carson Beck proves to us why he came to Miami, and he's been playing really well these last 4 games. I think it's again going to come down to whoever makes a mistake.
Yeah.
And I think Carson Beck will hold his own, and Marcel Reed will make the mistake first.
Absolutely.
So I got Miami. Moving into the Cotton Bowl against number 2 Ohio State. We'll stay here.
Okay.
Ohio State, Miami. This one's a no-brainer.
Okay.
This one is a no-brainer.
I think this one's a no-brainer for me too.
Yeah, it's Ohio State.
Yeah.
Ohio State, easy.
If you wanted to say Miami's offense compared to Texas A&M's defense, then you can say Ohio State's offense versus Ohio State's defense, who Ohio State's defense is really good.
Really
Caden Curry, Caden McDonald,
Caleb Downs,
Arvo Reese, Sonny Styles, and Caleb Downs are phenomenal.
Yeah. That proportion is blown out of the water compared to what we were doing with Miami and Texas A&M. And Ohio State's going to be angry.
Yeah.
Because of what happened in the Big Ten Championship 2 years in a row now. Not in the Big Ten Championship game, but just two hard losses at the end of the year.
13-10.
13-10. 13-10. All right.
This is a good game.
This is a tough one for me.
I think this is also a really tough one for me too, because you think of the last time they played, absolute shootout.
In the Sugar Bowl, Ole Miss, Georgia. Again, I'm going to go back to what I was saying. I was telling you this before we got on. The team that lost the first time of an in-season matchup has won the second game the last 9 out of 10 times, including Bama, Georgia. This is playing into that for me. And Kirby Smart has been able to beat – this is the second time in the last 12 games that Kirby Smart has been able to beat Alabama. And Trinidad Chambliss.
You mean Ole Miss instead of Alabama?
Ole Miss. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Ole Miss has a lot of firepower with Kawan Lacey, Trinidad Chambliss, and their outside guys. Georgia, Gunnar Stockton, has played well. I'm not going to discredit him for that. Nate Frazier also has.
Their run game is so good.
Their run game is going to be. That's going to be what it is. Which defense can stop the run game? And
in the previous game, Ole Miss's defense stopped the run game. They had 72 rushing yards. Just Nate Frazier, actually. So I think it was. Yeah. I think if I remember talking about this game, it was. Where's the rushing yards? Hold on. Say something, Coop.
I really think this matchup thing is weighing in my head too much, but Trinidad again. Lane Kiffin's gone. They've got the Pete Golding era over at Ole Miss. I think this is going to propel them to play extremely well.
Yeah.
I'm not going to discredit the work that Gunnar Stockton has done. He's proven a lot to me, especially in the SEC championship. He did enough. Again, not a Heisman candidate, but he's only thrown for 2,600 yards, but he's been able to orchestrate offense.
Yeah. Georgia had 200 rushing yards in that game.
Okay.
220, so they didn't really stop the run really well. No. They averaged 4.5 per carry. Gunnar Stockton went for 290. Trinidad Chambliss went for 260. So pass games for both teams were just phenomenal. The only thing that sucked about this, Trinidad threw 1 touchdown. He rushed for 2, and Kiwan rushed for 2 also. Gunnar threw 4 touchdowns, and he had all 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be quarterback play. This is literally just going to be quarterback play.
And can Ole Miss contain the Georgia run game if it becomes an offensive shootout?
And can Ole Miss play in the second half? They were held
they
scoreless.
Fell on their face.
They were held scoreless in the fourth quarter of that game.
That.
They scored 14 in the second half, while Ole Miss Meanwhile, Georgia scored 23.
Yeah.
So you have to think quarterback play, second half availability, and run game. And two of those things are leaning heavily towards Georgia.
But don't forget about the buys.
It's true.
That we saw this unfold last year. All but the only team that advanced that had a bye last year was no buys last year advanced. Oregon had a bye. Notre Dame had Oregon had a bye. Georgia had a bye. Boise State had a bye. That's a different story. And then
Texas. Was it Texas or ASU?
No,
because they played.
ASU had a bye. Okay. The ASU-Texas game was really, really good. That was the only competitive game.
ASU had a bye, Oregon had a bye, Boise State, and Georgia, and they all lost.
So I think that's playing into this for me, too. I'm going to go with Ole Miss. It's 3.5 weeks is a lot of time to take off in a football season.
Carter Phillips, I'm going Ole Miss, baby. I'm going Ole Miss.
It's one of those games where it could go either way. I'm just leaning towards Ole Miss because of the weight that is being carried on on Gunnar Stockton's shoulders.
Yeah,
he's gonna last year he came in for Carson Beck, and he's played well thus far.
Mm-hmm.
But Ole Miss is hungry, and if they can find a second half offense, it's gonna be a really good game.
Yeah,
Ole Miss will win this game.
This is gonna be a good game in the Rose Bowl. We got number 1 Indiana against Oklahoma. You don't think so?
No.
You think Indiana just runs away with it?
Yes.
But
same reason Oklahoma beats Alabama.
Okay.
Oklahoma's offense is not sufficient for Indiana's defense.
So you just think okay.
I think this is a multi-touchdown win for Indiana.
Really? So
yes.
I can picture it being like a really slow first half.
Really slow first half.
Fernando Mendoza begins to wear down that Oklahoma defense.
But they still scored 3 touchdowns. I say it'll be probably 21-10.
Okay.
At half, and then
at half.
21-10 at half, and then Oklahoma doesn't score in the second.
And then okay. See, I was thinking 21-10, 28-17 at the end of the game.
I feel like it's probably gonna be 28-17, but the score is gonna look closer than the game actually is.
Yes. Okay. I can agree with you on that.
I'm not saying that it's gonna be Indiana will dominate Oklahoma. The score is just not gonna be insane. Indiana doesn't have the same firepower as other offenses that have played Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Alabama at the beginning of the season, after that loss to FSU, would have probably ran up the score in this position. But I think it's 28-17 final score. It'll be 21-10. But the yardage and other things outside of the score is going to show the gap between these two teams.
Yeah.
So you have Indiana too?
Yeah, I do pick Indiana. Just because of the way that, like you said, the gap and Indiana being able to pull away.
Yeah. All right. Orange Bowl, Miami Gardens, Oregon, Texas Tech. Non-bias. Oregon wins this game. Tech has played well. They have offensive flaws. Their defense is really good. Their defense is really good.
Jacob Rodriguez is phenomenal. And the other linebacker, I'm forgetting his name, he's phenomenal.
This game is going to be close. I'm going to be scared for this game. I'm not going to lie to you.
I'm scared right now, and it's not even a possibility. It's going to happen. But
I'm scared this game is going to be close. But I think, again, talking about these gaps between offense and defense, Oregon has a top 10 defense. They're one of 3 teams with a top 10 offense and defense.
Yeah.
Texas Tech has a top 5 offense. The efficiency rating.
You mean top 5 defense?
Top 5 defense, yeah.
Yep.
And then they have it, I think they're 12th in offense. But looking at the efficiencies, Texas Tech is above Oregon in efficiency rating, the S&P Plus. But Oregon, the gap is much bigger. Oregon also will be getting key players back that they haven't had for the most of the year. DeCorian Moore and Gary Bryant are expected to be back.
Yeah, just them two definitely.
Yes.
And maybe not Ev.
Maybe not Ev. We'll see. I'm honestly going to be okay if he doesn't, because he retains his red shirt, or he will retain the red shirt, use it, and then we'll have him for an extra 2 years. But I think Baron Morton has shown flaws in high-pressure situations. They have not faced that since the ASU game. And I think the Oregon defense...
I don't think he played in that game, though. I think Will Hammond played in that game.
You might be right.
Because he was hurt for a little bit. I think I'm 99.9%
sure. I think you're right.
Will Hammond played
now
in that
I
game.
think about it.
It was Will Hammond.
Okay. Still, again, these gaps that we're talking about and the benefit of the bye, not the. I don't like this about the CFP either, and it really hurt us last year. 3.5 weeks off is too much time.
Yeah.
These first round games need to happen the week of Army Navy. I'm sorry. Joel Klatt talked about the structure of college football.
Just put Army Navy in week 0, and then this can be Army Navy, and then this can be our week 14, week 15, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, first round. Then you end the week of or week after New Year's.
Yeah, and then that would also make it so much easier
for recruiting and everything.
You would just have to get them
on board with a January transfer portal, which has already been in speculation. All right, I have Oregon moving on.
Yeah, it's hard because Oregon sometimes is just Oregon and chokes in the playoffs. I think the way that Oregon can win this game is if Tiatum Tuioti and Uyunglele can put pressure on Baron Morton.
Baron Morton and Bryce Betcher commands that middle.
And if Dante can just get out of the way from
Dante's been dicing
from Ben Roberts and the other linebacker and Jacob Rodriguez.
And if Oregon play action gets established because we have a good run game, it's over.
Yes.
I think that's where Oregon's going to win the game is if Noah Whittington, Jordan Davison, who else? Dier Hill. If all three of those guys can run for not each, but the Oregon offense totals 150 on the ground before the half, I think it establishes the play action to happen. And those fakes have been where the Texas Tech defense breaks down.
Yeah, and what's good is, though I'm not a huge fan of him, Will Stein is staying for the playoffs.
Yes, so both coordinators are.
And Tosh. So I love Tosh.
Yes.
So Tosh Lapoy, the defense coordinator, the team will be used to the play calling and the way that they're going to run the team. Yes. So it's not a huge switch from how they've been running all season.
Yes. One more thing, Oregon had a very, very good November.
Really good.
A very good November as to previous Novembers we've had.
Yeah.
Like last year's a different story because we went undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
Our quarterback play was not as Dylan Gabriel is not nearly as good as it showed. Dante Moore is a much more established quarterback in high pressure situations, and the leadership he has compared to Dylan Gabriel is something we lacked last year.
Yes.
So I'm done talking about Oregon and being biased.
All right, we're done talking about Oregon, so we're gonna go Oregon versus Indiana. We're going back to talking about Oregon.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. In the Peach Bowl. January 9th.
It's insane.
The rematch. I keep going back to this, but it's a trend.
If the O-line can be fixed, and the O-line has been fixed.
It has been. Yeah.
Dude, but Indiana's D-line's good.
Their D-line is very good. Fournette. Okay, Heisman race. Fernando Mendoza. I'm sorry. I love your personality. Don't get me wrong.
He's a great guy. He's actually probably a top 10 human of all time. He's great.
Top 10 human of all time. But as a quarterback, I just don't see everything. I don't.
Yeah, he has an arm. He can uncork the ball.
He can uncork the ball. But there's things that are missing that I think the Oregon secondary would be able to expose.
Yeah.
That they didn't the first
absolutely.
time. I think because we got in a hole so quickly.
Yes.
With Indiana's run game killed us too.
Memby?
Yeah.
Is that his name? Hemby and I think his last name is Black.
Yeah.
They're both phenomenal at what they are just amazing. Yeah. Hemby and what the frick? I think it's Black.
Yeah, it's something like that. That got established, so the play action unfolded and our secondary got exposed. But
Kalen Black.
Dan Lanning has willed this team to be resilient in these tight games.
Yeah.
That's something we did not face last year. Similar to Ohio State, we had a cupcake schedule last year. I'm not going to lie to you. We had a very cupcake schedule. This year we had played 2 ranked teams in the month of November, plus going to Seattle and beating Washington.
Yeah.
It is hard to win in Seattle. Indiana, same thing. They've played hardly anyone.
Yeah.
The only team they played was Oregon and Ohio State in the Big Ten Championship. They won both games.
Yeah.
That's the
low score. And then a game against us wasn't low scoring, but the Ohio State game was very low scoring.
I think I want to pick Oregon, and I also have my reasons that I'm not going to pick Indiana. Just because it's okay to be biased.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick Oregon in this game because I want hope, and I may be a little delusional. But Oregon has everything they need, especially receiving DeCorian Moore back and Gary Bryant, to win that game.
Yeah, I think the only way that we see a good an Oregon win here is if the O-line can step up.
Yes.
Julian Sain was getting smoked all game in that Big Ten championship. Dante Moore was sacked, I think, 6 times in that game against us in Autzen, right? So it's only if Dante, because when he's under pressure, he cannot throw the football. He is not good under pressure. I think he's better. He's still a good quarterback, but he's better as a pocket passer.
He's better. A lot of analysts, including Kirk and the guys on College Game Day, understand that Dante Moore is the best pocket passer in the nation.
Yeah.
Except under pressure. However, he has been very vocal to guests such as that have come to talk to him, saying he will get mobile when he has to. He doesn't like to be mobile, but he will get mobile, and I think that's something he didn't do in the first game.
And then on the defensive side, if Kennedy, Brandon Finney, Thieneman can guard those back shoulders, that's the only way that they score.
Yeah.
Only way they score. Omar Cooper back shoulder, Elijah Stratt back shoulder.
Yeah.
If they can guard those back shoulders and front seven can stop the run, Oregon wins this game.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just going to pick Oregon because
Same. We're delusional.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, my
Fiesta
gosh.
Bowl. I wish Oregon was on this side so we could come watch it. But regardless, Ohio State, Ole Miss. This one, again, Ole Miss would be close with Georgia, but I don't think this game is going to be close if it gets to this point.
We also have to think about how these teams are going to be playing at this time. Well, not even at this time, but how they've been playing in the past games. How's Ole Miss going to play against Georgia? How's A&M going to play against Ohio State?
Right.
Is A&M going to give Ohio State a scare so they go into this next game thinking about that last game, right?
Right.
Is Ole Miss going to go and just beat the brakes off Georgia so they don't even worry about what's happening?
Right.
It's all just confidence in mindset. And it
is.
At the end of the day, sure, they have the skill, but you can't have the skill without the mindset.
You can't.
So, on that note, I am going to pick Ohio State. I think
I am too.
Just because of if you think of mindset, Ryan Day is a phenomenal coach. I will say what I will about Ryan Day, but I think he has coached this team so well, and I've actually grown to like Ryan Day this year.
The humility that he has taught the guys at Ohio State, they take each game for itself. They don't look forward. The example being the Michigan game. Everyone was saying, oh, they're going to lose again and then they'll go on to win the national championship. No, they wanted to win that game. That is why the score was so bad.
Mm-hmm.
They held Michigan to less than 150 total yards.
Yeah.
Like, they've taken each game one step at a time, and Ryan Day understands he didn't win the Big Ten championship, but he said, okay, we're ready.
Yep.
Give us the Cotton Bowl. Cotton Bowl. And for that reason, the mentality is there. I don't think Ole Miss is going to have that. They're going to still be, again, Ole Miss already played Georgia this year. Ole Miss already played Georgia, and they have the notes. They're not going to have the same on Ohio State. Ohio State and Georgia are two totally different defenses.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that Trinidad Chambliss will be able to air it out as well.
Yeah, especially with that front seven.
And then thus reacting, you can't create play action from the run game because that front seven is dominant.
Caden Curry and Cade McDonald are going to eat up that O-line.
Yeah.
Yes, I hate that this is what it's come down to.
I do too, but
okay, let's think about this. Saying we didn't pick Oregon, it would be Indiana, Ohio State.
It would be Indiana, Ohio State, and then I would go. It's just so hard because
these three teams are all so good.
Oregon's the 5th best odds, which I don't get.
Yeah, only because of their path. Only because of the path they have to take. Oregon beats James Madison. And after Oregon beats Texas Tech, they go to play against Indiana. So it's just those three teams because I don't see a team beating Ohio State in the bottom of the bracket.
No.
The top of the bracket, it's Oregon or Indiana.
I could see Georgia if they move on past Ole Miss.
Yeah.
But it's those three teams that are like – it's going to be this is hard to say, and this is why Desmond Howard said it. The Big Ten will win the national title.
Yeah.
It's just, again, I'm going to be delusional. Like, is it wrong of me to have hope? And I, as an Oregon fan, I will be satisfied if we lose to Indiana in the semis. I will be satisfied.
I'd rather lose in the semis than lose in the Natty. In my own opinion,
yes.
I'd rather lose to Indiana. One, because Indiana, I don't mind Indiana. I would not want to lose to Ohio State again. That was atrocious to watch.
The Oregon has been to 2 national championships.
Yep.
In our lifetime.
Yep.
We lost to Cam Newton by a field goal.
And we lost to Zeke.
And we lost to Zeke by 3 touchdowns.
Because Zeke is just him.
And we lost to Ohio State in the Rose Bowl.
By Jeremiah Smith and Colonel Tate and their whole entire offense.
Yeah. So I'm done with Ohio State. Love you, Steve. Shout out Steve Walden. But I'm sick and tired of it. I'd rather lose in the semis because we got the progress that we need, and there's a lot of flaws that are missing. But I would be satisfied with the CFP semi-loss. I believe Oregon has what they need to get things done. I truly believe that from the bottom of my heart because they're similar to what Ohio State was last year. Slept on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No one's thinking about them right now.
No one is. Nobody is. And before we came on here, I was watching so many analysts, CBS, ESPN, Bleacher Report, all talking about what their brackets were going to look like. Oregon was the most talked about team. How they've been slept on. They've been slept on. I'm like, it's hard that I'm an Oregon fan because I'm leaning into that a lot. But it's true. You go look at the efficiency rating. You look at the month of November they had. They've been tested. We were not tested last year.
Yeah.
So everything is falling together. It's not going to be a blowout. It's going to come down to a Will Howard. It's going to come down to a mistake being made.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
by either Julian Sand or Dante Moore.
Julian Sand is the oldest freshman of the year in the Big Ten ever at 20. That's crazy that he's 20 and is a freshman.
Yeah.
Most freshmen, such as Bryce Underwood, are 18, 17. So that's a little bit off topic. But as a delusional Oregon fan, but out of true reality, I think Oregon is your 2026 national champion.
Yeah. I do genuinely think Oregon can win this game. But maybe it is just the delusion playing into me, and I'm trying to fight the delusion. But, yeah, I'm also going to go with Oregon as our 2026 national champion.
All right. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap it for 2025 Beyond Game Time. Yeah. We love you guys. Thank you all for the support.
We'll take a little break for Christmas. We'll be back at you in the first week of January.
Likely the first week of January, we will have a national championship game preview for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
We won't have the semis. It'll likely already be over by the time we get it out. But we will preview that for you guys. I'm going to pray us out of here. Have a Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We love you all. Lord Jesus, I just thank you for this time together and come on this platform and be able to discuss the sport we love. I thank you for this season, Lord, the warmth of coffee, hot chocolate, other things like Christmas lights, Christmas trees, Santa Claus, Christmas movies. We thank you for all this time together, but we just ask that we would help remember the reason for this season, Lord. You know, Jesus coming down, you sending your son to be born of a Virgin Mary, rising again in the dead on Easter. I just thank you for this time, the sacrifice that you made. I thank you for the love that is expressed to us, Lord Jesus. I just ask you would bless everyone with a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Keep everyone safe, and would we be able to come out strong in 2026. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Later.
Later.